This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world. The Supreme Court handed a victory to President Trump Monday by allowing his latest travel ban to go into effect even as legal challenges continue in the lower courts. The administration can now fully enforce its new restrictions on travel from 8 countries, 6 of them predominantly Muslim. The ruling will bar most citizens of Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Chad, and North Korea from entering the United States, along with some groups of people from Venezuela. The latest version of the travel ban was issued in September, shortly before the Supreme Court was set to hear oral arguments on the previous version of the travel ban.
Last month, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to allow the latest travel ban to take effect, following an appeals court ruling that blocked part of it from being enacted. This latest travel ban removed Sudan from the original list and added the countries of Chad and North Korea and some government officials from Venezuela. Trump first sought to implement a travel ban a week after taking office in January. To find out more about the implications of the Supreme Court ruling, we're joined now by Lee Gallant, ACLU attorney who presented the first challenge to President Trump's travel ban order. His argument resulted in a nationwide injunction. Welcome back to Democracy Now!, Lee.
Thanks for having me.
So talk about the significance of this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's really unfortunate that the court has allowed the ban to go into effect immediately. It's going to mean real hardship for people around the country who are seeking to have their relatives come to this country. We're going to continue fighting it. You know, we have a Court of Appeals argument this Friday in the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond. That's going to go forward. We hope that we'll prevail. We suspect if we prevail, the government will take the case to the U.S. Supreme Court, and then we'll have to fight in the U.S. Supreme Court. There's also a parallel case in Hawaii that will be argued before the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit tomorrow. Hopefully they will prevail as well. We suspect I think we're fairly certain at this point that if we prevail, we'll end up in the U.S. Supreme Court. And the stay ruling is not a great sign for us, but we're going to continue fighting.
But now the court did indicate that it expected the lower courts, the appeals courts, to actually judge the merits of the actual ban. Right?
Absolutely. So this ruling by the Supreme Court was just a temporary stay ruling. There was no actual opinion. It was just a 1-paragraph order. It didn't discuss the merits. It's just allowing the ban to go into effect temporarily while the courts of appeals adjudicate the merits of this case.
And yet 2 justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Sonia Sotomayor, dissented even in this. Do we have any idea for the basis of their dissent?
We don't. They did not write an opinion. The majority in issuing the stay did not write an opinion, and the 2 dissenters did not write an opinion. The whole thing is just 1 paragraph, so it's impossible to read into sort of details. And so we will just tell the Court of Appeals in Richmond on Friday they should decide the case on the merits. That's what the Supreme Court expects them to do. And then if we prevail, we expect we'll be in the Supreme Court later this year.
So explain exactly what this ban is.
Right. So the ban looks at 8 countries. As you said, the majority of the countries are Muslim majority countries, and it blocks individuals from those countries, most individuals from those countries, from coming to the United States. And what it changes dramatically from the history of our immigration system is no longer are people vetted individually to see if they're a security risk and allowing the overwhelming majority of people from any country to come in who obviously are not security risks. What it says is categorically we're going to ban people from those countries. And the majority of them are Muslim, and we have said all along that we believe President Trump was trying to enact a Muslim ban, and what he did is just talk about countries that happen to be Muslim rather than using the word Islam or Muslim, and that's what's going to happen. We have relatives in the U.S. waiting for their wives, for all types of relatives to come in. They may never see them again.
And what about that issue of family? Right. And what the Trump administration is saying they're going to do about it right now? Are they just going to ban them all?
They are saying that someone can apply for an individual waiver. but the criteria for getting one of those waivers is so hard, and they haven't made it clear how you go about getting one of those waivers. So that's really no solution.
So you go to court on Friday.
We go to court on Friday.
We want to thank you very much for being with us. Lee Gallant, ACLU attorney who presented the first challenge to President Trump's travel ban. His argument resulted in a nationwide injunction. Of course, we'll continue to follow the story. When we come back from break, President Trump makes history. That's right. He goes to Utah to announce he's rolling back federal protections on federal land. This is the greatest rollback in U.S. history. Stay with us.